Sorry, what? Yeah.
We've got
We're
lots
live
of
right now.
galaxies. I know. Welcome everyone to the
Oh.
stream. We're having
Click clear. Go on clear. F2 on clear. Clear.
Okay. Yes, we are live, and the reason why we're getting a little started a little late today, I am trying a new setup. I'm trying the same setup that Blay usually uses, and it's what makes it look very professional. So over the week, he kind of taught me how to use it and taught me how to set it up. But you all can imagine that it's still very new to me, and this program, though it's designed to be easy once you figure it out, being my second time to use it, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Although Blay's here to walk me through it. So welcome everybody to Music Production Amino's feedback stream, where we give feedback on submissions from the community. And it's just to help producers get new perspectives on your music. It's a panel of hosts today, hosts and judges. Today we have with us Blayhub, Radium, and Retrograde.
Hello.
Everybody. Love your mics out still, and I'll do that live. All right, so how are y'all doing? I hope y'all are doing good. And welcome everybody that came to the event so far. Share in the Amino groups that we're live and get other people to join if they don't know. And this pretty much go like normal, except for there might be a few little errors and bumps because, again, this is my first time to run this. But just to keep it getting too complicated, I'm just going to jump right in and see what happens, and we'll figure it out as it goes. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's all about muscle memory. I am pretty good at programs and stuff. I just got to do them a few times. It's gonna result in more professional streams, and once I learn the software, I can get creative and for our PvP battles and other competitions. It's gonna be a good. Here we go. All right, so unless y'all have any news we want to bring forth, everyone. Oh yeah, just real quick, everyone that's waiting on the PvP battles. There's probably going to be a draft on Saturday. I've been talking to the captains. Problem is still just getting everybody's tracks that wanted to join the draft. Not everyone replied to me immediately, and I think there's a couple people that already had tracks, but I haven't asked them yet if they wanted to update. I'm just going to assume that they're just going to go with those tracks that they already have. But I just want the captains to have the ability to listen to the 3 tracks from the artists that they're going to be drafting. Of course, you don't want to just blindly draft. So that's why I want everyone that signed up for the draft, which we did have 12 plus members sign up for the draft, but not everyone has the 3 tracks sent to me. So quicker I get all those 3 tracks, quicker I get the wikis built, and then hopefully by Saturday, he and Arcestic said they'd both be available. We can do some kind of live draft, whether it's on Discord, Amino. Then if we can do the draft and get it all set up, we can try to do the battle on Monday, the team battle. If we don't get the draft done by Monday, we'll do regular battles on Monday. 1 versus. So let's push for the team draft battles. As long as we get 2 teams of at least 3 and 4, including the team captain. So, there'll probably be enough to do that draft. So if I put the list together of the members that have submitted their songs, we pull from that draft pool and try to get a team battle by Monday. Let's shoot for that. All right. So unless y'all got anything to say, let's jump right into this.
Yeah, let's do this.
Gonna hit F.
And don't forget to mute yourself and us.
Yes. All right. So, boom. All right, we're gonna start out with DLC Ninja. It's good to see him popping back into the community favorites. Done some community challenges in the past, and need to see him submit into one. Check out this song. Back now. All right, so that was yeah, for sure. Still Alive by DLC Ninja. One of my favorite artists for sure. He's makes a style that I like a lot. It's kind of like a trap mixed with like a chill trap. And you're like, and I remember the battle you did with Minty that missed that one time. It was a lo-fi uh, hip hop challenge. I really like those songs that you submitted to that. And for those that don't know, because we really haven't spread the word, me and DLC Ninja have started a little collab project, which I'm real excited about. So DLC, I will get back to you on those files and stuff like that as soon as I get situated in the studio. But that being said, I really like this track. I really like where you went with it. I wish it was a little like a little warmer, like as in like the frequencies were a little bit more filled out, kind of like that wall of sound effect that you would get. But not, I know that's not typically your sound, especially in chill music. But I wish some of the pads would fill up in those empty frequencies more, and then but not of course properly sidechained with your 808 bass and everything because that's one where you shine as in but as far as the songwriting, I love the song. Like this is another one that makes me just want to work on the collab project. I really like the style, but I would just say the mixing and mastering on this, um, it's almost a little too thin for me. A little almost a little distorted, like on the thin, like just be a little warmer and cleaner. But that's just like done in maybe like the mixing process. Um, but I would honestly say I just really like your style. I'm gonna pass it over to the rest of the Play Hub.
Yeah. All right. I thought it's pretty nice. I usually I think it's not a surprise that whenever we get a submission by DLC Ninja, it's always something sort of new, but also something sort of familiar. So we can like always kind of tell. Sorry, I can still hear Guild in the background. I'm a bit confused. Um, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay. Uh, now I look like an idiot. No. Right. No. We can also. I think it's really good that you can always sort of tell what's done by you. So it's like you found your own style of music, that's for sure. So we can always tell. But then again, you always do something like slightly new, something you wouldn't just expect from you, which is super awesome and really good. Um uh I think in terms of um yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw in the chat, Arcastic suggested that the break is missing something, and I think I'd agree. And I think what you could do, because right now you have the sort of general flow of music, this general like kind of uh, um, backdrop of music, I'd say, with a couple of melodies and a few arpeggios and like a general just soundscape. But I think in terms of like uh, if looking at it from like a perspective of a composer, for me there's sort of this key element missing. So I sort of see more like more like a background here, but something should be on top of that in a way. So what I'd suggest you do is uh, introduce a couple of melodies on top of that and have them work together and maybe pull some of the sort of more background elements in the front too, so make it interesting in that sense. But I don't know. This is you do a lot of rap stuff, I believe. I think there were a couple of things by you that were with rapping, but I might be mistaken. I don't know. Um, but it sure feels like there's some sort of like vocal aspect uh, that's missing there. But I think it's actually a great opportunity for you to add something to that melodically without relying on vocals um, or anything like that. So, oh no, actually, I don't think you did have rapping on your tracks. I don't know. I'm a bit confused. Um, but yeah, uh, I think I just recommend working more with melody and being bold and putting things up front, working with that more interesting, because you had really interesting harmony in this. Now, this is a remix. I don't know how much of that composition aspect was done by you, how much of the melodies and harmonies is by you. So I don't know, but I think it was you had really nice harmony in this and really interesting chord progressions. So I think you could take them farther too. So there's more, just more variety you could do as always. I'm always going to say this probably, but yeah, pretty nice. Radium. I don't know if you want to do one of those open discussion things like we usually do.
I
Um,
think since we're like testing a new setup, it might be better. I
Yeah.
think. Okay,
but
anyway.
What was the question? I'm sorry. My
Can
house
you
having
hear
problem.
me?
I can
yeah, I
hear
can
you,
hear
Radium.
you.
Y'all are coming through clear.
Okay.
So you were
I
saying,
said
yeah,
I think since we're testing a new setup, it might be better for today.
to take turns or to be open discussion.
To have
Do an
open discussion or
open,
not.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean that's
yeah,
what we wanted to do. Any that's kind
yeah,
of so what I thought we should do with these because it's more fun.
yeah. Let's do that. It gives me a chance also since
true.
I am having a little bit of
Yeah.
technical
Oh,
difficulties
I just
here.
want
While y'all are,
to. I'm sorry. I just want to add because DLZ Ninja actually said that he remade everything. Um, I don't know what you mean by that. If you remade all of the melody and all of the chords and harmony too, then where's the remix? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I know that you made all the sounds, but I was talking about the composition. So the what notes and what harmony you used.
um, yeah, yeah, for sure. So hey, everybody, keep this going smoothly. I was having technical difficulties. I didn't hear everything. Yeah, we are gonna have open discussion. Uh, if you can probably message DLC about what he exactly meant, but let's just while y'all are having talking, it's going to give me a chance to break back over to my setup. I am having some setup issues here. So while y'all are talking and stuff, I need to do the setup. But uh, I tuned back in because I need to see if we're going to the next track or where we're at. So I missed all that. Who's giving feedback and ready to go to the next track?
It's my turn
Okay,
to
go
do
for
the
it, Radio.
feedback.
Go for it, Radio.
Okay, so at first I didn't like the track. I thought the intro felt kind of empty. The piano or the Rhodes, I don't know, didn't hit right, and the EDM feel felt very. It was added like an EDM feel, and I thought it was very like a bit too simple for my liking.
It was
But then
pretty simple, yeah.
I think everything made sense when the trap beat started coming in with the 808s and the drum patterns. It made everything much better. It made the track a lot more interesting to listen to. So honestly, because of the trap thing that came in, that filled up the silence of the intro and the first instrument and gave the track a full move direction. I really liked it, but I feel like the intro could be worked on a little more. Maybe add something to fill it in. Maybe do something with the piano so it's
Hmm.
better and feels less empty.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, yeah, extending of the melody has been then harmony, doing a bit more with it, probably.
Yeah, I think there's potential to make the intro a little bit better.
Yeah.
I've always liked the sounds choose deal. Or like they're almost like it goes with your name, like the ninja sound. You almost got, especially when you do like lean towards those like Japanese like flutes and stuff. I hear in a lot of your tracks. If you really make those your signature sounds, like I really think it gives you those breathy, airy wind. A lot of that space. It doesn't have to be a synth pad or anything. Really fill it up with some more like natural and then to your always like. Um, I missed it. Did retrograde? Did you already give your feedback? Retro still
We
with us?
lost Retro in the very
Oh,
beginning. He had to go
Yeah,
because of
retro
something.
can't
oh,
make it.
okay. No
So
wonder
yeah,
I feel it. So I feel okay. Yeah, and I saw Arcastic saying we shortened radium to rad. That was Blayhub, which is cool because I
It's
thought
always been like
it's
this.
always
Have you
been
not been on
rad.
the
I know.
previous streams? What the fuck, Arcastic?
Calm down, Blay. No, it's rad. It's funny. I think it's rad because I never called her rad, but I'm gonna start.
Oh,
Um,
I think yeah. Oh, Guild. I think you're still muted.
Um,
Oh, no, you're not.
I'm coming
Oh,
through.
okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so let's go ahead and move this on to the next one. Go into Box of Galaxy. I don't know the name of this one because I changed it last minute.
Oh, let's see what happens. Yeah.
Box of Galaxy. Here we go. All right, seems like I'm letting the stream know. All right, so Fox Galaxy is not working. We're gonna jump over to Dodge, and I'll check on Fox Galaxy folders. So here we go. This is Dodge fires. All right, so that was Blazing Tires by Dodge. You know, honestly, I think I said this before. I like your mixing is real warm. I think it's a sound choice, and you don't add too much to take away and cause mix problems. But honestly, I didn't really like this song just because of the vibe of it. It's kind of like almost like I don't want to use this in like as a negative term, but I kind of am. But as like, almost like a polka song or whatever. And for those that like polka music, forgive me. But it had like a upbeat, like a boom 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 polka sound where it would have its place, but I would almost say along the lines of a circus style song, which is cool for that style of scene, but personal taste, not really my style. I don't really have much to say about it. The mixing wasn't bad. It was warm. It was full, uh, but it could have been more interesting. And overall, it wasn't my style. But I'll pass it over to Lane Radio.
It was certainly interesting. Um, yeah.
Like, ba-dum.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know, it's really interesting. It's the sort of thing where it's, like, really hard to say anything about it just because it's so different, you know? You know what I mean? Um, it's, like, kinda hard to, like, even I don't know where to start, basically. I thought it's a really cool and interesting idea.
Could
Um,
have had more of a better
kind of
outro.
funny and yeah, yeah. And I think, uh, I guess, um I believe this is one of the ones we had to turn down quite a bit in volume, right? Yeah. Yeah, maybe just on a technical, level, if I'm gonna give the advice to just keep your true peak in mind and keep your, user, loves meter and stuff like that, to make sure that you're not, completely destroying your own track when you upload it to streaming platforms and whatever. Uh 'cause we're being kind to you guys and just turning down the volume on it,
Turning
but
it down for you, but if we were to play it like
yeah,
normal, it would sound distorted.
streaming services, they'll compress it to bits. They'll put limiters on it, it's gonna sound like crap. You don't want that because you just won't have any control over what they do and how they do it. So you always wanna have control over your, final output, your final mix, so always, measure and meter stuff appropriately and, change
Still
it
think we should do like a
accordingly.
workshop on that, like some kind of
We
like,
have to.
yeah,
Every
I
every
want you to
single
host it so I can
submission,
watch.
every single stream, they're all too loud, way too loud.
Yeah, we should let people
People don't
submit
pay
like their
attention to that.
mixes so we can use we can use their tracks as examples, and then we can show like other examples of like what they should be looking for.
Right. Yeah, we can do that, yeah. I believe, yeah. No, but I don't know. In terms of composition, it's rather simple. There's not super much going on. I mean, it's not really my personal like sort of style of music I usually listen to, obviously. But certainly something I can see like some appreciation in just because it's kind of weird and yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting.
What did you think
Kind
of
of
this one,
hoping for
Radium?
Radium to join in at some
I know,
point,
Radium.
but Radium is
Jump off
I don't
also.
know. Yeah,
Oh,
no, but
turn off
yeah, I
now.
don't really know what
Radium,
else
what
to
do you think of
say.
this
Dude.
track? He's tired.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Interesting.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just kind of a song that wouldn't fit into my
It's
style.
it's 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 really something. It's special.
It's so special. I think the ending should be a little bit more of an ending instead of just abruptly end. Radium changes. Um,
No, I'm here. I was like, I'm gonna let them finish, you know. But if I were playing a traditional NES game, I would say it's a good track. But since we're listening to it and doing low key nothing in the background, like we're not focusing on something else, it feels very simple and very repetitive. Like
Yeah,
it's not objectively bad, but I feel like it's the kind of tracks that has its particular objective, its particular goal.
depends on how it's used and what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't listen to it while
You wouldn't listen to it for a
if
relaxing
pretty
Sunday
much,
evening.
yeah, pretty much. But if I were playing like a video game and it was in the background, I
Yeah,
would definitely leave it there.
yeah,
So I think I don't like it because it doesn't have like it's not in the proper purpose right now. I don't know if that makes
the setting,
sense.
or even the setting, or it's like,
no,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So we're basically judging it two different angles. Like the production, yeah, honestly, if someone called for this and they needed you to fulfill their need for this style of track, your production was pretty much. I think they'd be happy with it. You
Yeah.
probably could get a little more tricks here and there to add to again the ending and the transitions, but they'd be happy with the quality of the sounds and stuff. But if you're asking on through the other perspective of just personal preferences, I don't think any of the judges listen to this. As far as just, I don't know, maybe done with other ways. You know, if it's a song, you just took the notes and the composition, chord progression, and you could slow it down, different instruments and stuff. That you never know. But as far as this, I just like I said, I didn't mean to insult it by calling it a polka song, but I was just trying to give it that sound. It's like like a kind of an upbeat dun 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 dun, but with kind of like a drive-in. I don't know, tonality of just kind of like it fits. It has a place, but dubstep music. Anyways, no. So shall we go on to the next one, or is that
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think there's much more I have to say.
kind of summarize it? Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. Let's just go over three. Um. All right. So we're back. That was dropped by Maury. Um. I like the song. I mean, I just love 808 bass. It's kind of like I was saying about DLC Ninja style. It's just real chill mixed with like a trap. I know it's just like it's probably got a style that I'm just, but I like this style a lot. You executed it pretty well, except for I think you can clean up the low end, the sub. I think
Oh yeah.
Arcestic was mentioning it too. The low end be there's frequencies that are clashing. The sub and the bass is
Careful with the low end.
careful with the low end for sure, and that takes up so much of
Yeah.
your headroom too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, people in chat were saying it's off key, but I think it's sort of on key or close enough. But I think it's just because there's it's kind of rumbly there and kind of dirty, so it appears off key probably.
happen.
There are some issues there.
Those 808s pitch around. So if you don't, I mean, they're supposed to be in tune, but sometimes you gotta. Not all the samples people download are perfectly fine tuned, 440 or whatever, and people don't realize that. So even on 808s, because a lot of times when the 808s are made, they're just pitching it down to a certain frequency, and the person, depending on the person designing it, that subtone or the frequency, they might go either past it or above it or whatever. I think I was talking about this last week, but that can sometimes make it sound just not completely off key, like it's the wrong note, but it's fine. The fine tune could be off. Want to
Yeah.
tune it to 440. You can even pull up a guitar tuner. You can put a guitar tuner, especially if you're Ableton. I think they got one stock, or pull up Guitar Rig or something if you got that. Bring in a VST guitar tuner or any kind of tuner, like an actual tuner, and you could run all kinds of samples through it. If it's like that, like an 808 sub or bass, something like a single tone frequency tone, still works very good with a guitar tuner, like a bass. It would act like a bass guitar basically. And you could tune your samples like that. You can fine tune them and get them right on. What do you think, Radio?
Oh, I'm not radium.
Oh, what'd you think? What'd you think, Blaine?
Nothing. No, I don't know. I mean, we can just all talk. It's like the open discussion. No,
Yeah.
I just want to say, we kind of were talking about parts of this being sampled or closely inspired by something else. While this was going, it sounded super familiar to us, for some reason. I don't know. I thought it was on some PvP thing or it's on some other stream. I don't know. But what ended up happening is Radium found a link to something that she thought this was sampled off of, or there was some sample used. I don't really know what exactly was going on.
Detective work happened.
Yeah, but she sent the first link, and I listened to it and was like, it's it's similar, but I don't know what part he sampled. So it was like I don't know if they if Morai sampled anything,
Or use the
uh,
same
but it
sample
was
from a
super. It was really similar. And then Radium said, "Oh wait, that's the wrong link. I meant this one." And then I listened to that, and that was even more alike. And now I'm here thinking, okay, so there's two tracks.
How does radio
One of them was
find
a mistake, but that too was so similar that I could have seen the argument, basically. So what I want to say as big as big feedback, a big criticism for this is if two tracks sound so close that they might as well be the same thing to your thing, and one of them was a mistake, wasn't even meant to be that, wasn't even about it, your track is just really not that unique, and I think that's something you should work on because it works, but the way it's structured and the way it's built up, it stays the same from start to finish. Nothing changes. Let's be honest, nothing changes. Or super, super little and insignificant things. So, really, what I want to suggest is, I mean, this is fine if, like, if you, I don't know, someone requested you to make something for a backdrop of one of those, uh, I don't know, cooking TikToks or something, you know, that's fine, that works. It's just for your music, stuff you want to make. I mean, I don't know the context for this, what this is for, but I think you should really try to find your own sound and try to do more with that because you're so staying in this sort of safe area of not doing too much and sort of like staying where it's just acceptable, that it's just lacking everything else at some point. Not saying this is bad or anything, just it's so
The most creative part is when you
It's
reverse
just
that sample,
so
but it still sounded very similar to like.
yeah. It's just so you're not taking any risks. Not any risk, you know? And it's to the point where you could do anything with it, you know? I don't really know I don't know what the purpose for it is, but I also couldn't really think of one. I mean, I gave one example that's kind of mean and shitty and whatnot. But I think the most important thing for you to work on, beside like some mixing things, like oh, make sure your low end is clean and whatever. Um, but you know what? Screw all that. The thing you gotta pay attention to is finding your own unique sound. That's the number one thing you gotta do. Cause yeah, we all thought we heard it before. I don't listen to this kind of music, and I heard it before. And whatever, I don't know where, I don't know when. Maybe I heard this one or something similar. But we got two examples, one of which was a mistake, and the other one could also just be anything, you know? And they're so alike and so similar because they have the same sort of idea, just staying in the same key and the same thing, the same chord even.
They're
And like,
safe, like you said.
yeah,
Heard it
it's
before, so
just
you know it's
super, yeah,
okay, yeah, heard before. Right. Doesn't mean it's right. It sounds right because you've heard it before. Doesn't mean it's right. You know, the reason why you've heard it before is because it's so similar to talking in the perspective of Maury. Like, I can see easily as a producer, like, okay, this sounds right. This sounds good. This sounds right. Because it's so familiar to think you probably heard before that you're not really thinking outside the box. You're being safe. Your track sounds like tracks you've heard before. Now, it's rid of the style that comes from where you just download a sample and build a beat around it. It's a hip hop thing, but still, you
yeah,
just got to keep in mind what we were saying last week. I think it was during the producer battle or something. But you want to still make it your own because another producer is
yeah.
going to download that same sample pack and get that melody in your head, and then
Just
it's
make
like
the same thing.
yeah, then it's a
Just do the
competition
same
and a
thing.
race,
Yeah.
really, because then one day you're gonna like hear a beat that has your same sample in it, and then everyone's gonna know that beat for them, and they're gonna think, and you're like, wait, that's my melody, my beat. You're like, no, y'all just use the same sample. But that being said, I did notice you reversed the sample at some point or something, and which really gave it a different vibe, which still sounded very similar to a lot of styles and a lot of tracks because reverse samples is a really common trick. But that sounded cool. You were switching it up a little. Overall, I do think this is one of your best tracks, style wise, that you've released that I've heard. Mainly because this is like something I would listen to as far as style, but I still think it needs a lot of work as far as what Blay was saying. Uh, Kind of like find your own unique.
Yeah.
Then
Find
I
your own
think
sound,
yeah,
find your
find your own
own,
style,
discover yourself.
cover yourself, and then I think the mixing could use some work, like they were saying in the chat with the low end. Um, Definitely don't want people to be able to just go look up like Radium was able to find two examples. So just try to
Yeah.
think about that when you're creating music or
Like even if it had nothing to do with those tracks, they're super similar. They're super similar. It's the sort of thing where big record companies have ridiculous lawsuits over three notes.
oh
Come
yeah, I
on,
see
guys.
that all the time.
What the hell? It's ridiculous. If your music gets to that point, sorry, it's just, you know, don't complain. Don't complain, because at that point you're just I mean, you're asking for people to find similarities in other things. It's just really, yeah. When is it your own? When is it something you really made?
Something that you can be proud of, like thinking like people hear that melody, but they're gonna think of everyone that's. But let's go ahead and move on. And nice job overall as far as
And just skip
I
me.
think you just the low end. Oh no, I didn't mean to skip you, Radium.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
were.
thought we were having an open round. I was waiting for Radium to
Oh yeah,
chime in
go
at
ahead,
some
Radium.
point.
I'm too polite. I was like, no, I'm gonna let them finish
Oh, you should start.
first.
Yeah.
Don't be nice. You shouldn't be nice to us. You're not nice to our viewers and community members and everything.
All right,
No,
Simon.
just kidding.
Wait your radiation.
But yeah, my feedback is gonna sound super similar to both Gills and Blaze. And first of all, I'm sorry I pulled the Nancy Drew out of my hat and found a song with, I'm assuming, the same sample you used. And honestly, to add on to what Blaze said, and guilt, I think when you use a sample, you have to be super careful, especially like even if they're free or not. The fact that it's on the internet is going to be accessible to everyone. So if you're
Yeah.
going to use a sample, you have to be super careful and make sure you change it up as much as possible so it becomes yours. When I was listening to your track, the first thing that came to my head was, hold up a minute. I heard that before. And it was a very simple Google search, and I found your and I found like well, the first song wasn't the good one, but then the second one, I'm pretty sure I found a song with the exact sample you had, and that's never a good thing, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not a bigger producer than you can literally, like Blaze said, sue you for that, and if you don't have the means to fight that legal battle, you're losing, even though you're just using a sample that's accessible to everyone.
It's
And I
also
just
just luck. It's also just luck. If you get in a lawsuit over music like this, it's just luck. Because no one's in the right. Honestly, no one's in the
yeah,
right.
pretty much. And I don't want people to think, oh, is it bad to use a sample? No, not at all. There was this song that was made by Marshmello and Anne Marie, and the main guitar thing was literally a sample from Splice. People
Yeah, I
found
got
it.
that pack. Song
Yeah, so it's
Friends.
fine using sample, but
Yeah,
you have to be
people are gonna do
careful
that.
in the way you're using it, and you have to be careful, uh, basically, yeah, in the way you're using it, because you know it's easy for someone with more power and money than you to be like, I think you stole that from me, or you stole the idea from me. It's very easy.
Or even more so, just the fans to claim that
Yeah,
don't want to get the reputation. But yeah,
it's
let's
very easy. But if I had to like take out the fact that there's a sample in the track, the track is very simple and not as original as I think it should have been. Especially since I feel like the sample gave you like an idea in a way to do. Like even reversing the sample was not original. The song lacked structure, in my opinion. It lacked something to spice it up and make it interesting. It felt very, very basic. And I'm thinking if you're a beginner, it's fine. But if you are looking to do more, or if you're looking to start trying to find your styles, you would need to work on arranging, structuring, adding maybe melodies, make more complicated things. So you start developing your own style on it. However, if you were like planning to put a singer on it and focus on making like an instrumental for a singer, it's good to keep it simple so the singer can put like their own melody on top. But would still recommend something to change the track a little that isn't just reversing in the beginning and the end and leave the sample in the middle. So yeah,
I
that's pretty
agree.
much
I
it.
would like to hear it. Um, yeah, I totally agree with what everyone said. Something to keep in mind for everyone. So it is kind of a competition. At some point, it's fun just to make music, and at some point, you realize it gets a little competitive when you're trying to get stuff uh, become viral. If or you want people to re-listen to it and remember it and show their friends, it's usually thinking outside the box, not playing it safe. Those are the tracks that move things. Then there's a certain period where a new style pops up, and then everyone can make tons of tracks and everything's new and fresh. But then that style gets kind of worn out, and it's almost like get back to that same point. We got okay, now I got to think outside the box again. So I'd say this track is just a safe track. But let's go ahead and move on to. Okay, this is Etsky from the community. He gives us his
That is
artist
key.
name. All right, so I could really like the ending of it. Whoa, whoa. All right, that was Action Final by Elias, known as Etsky in the community. You know, I always give you positive feedback. This is open discussion, so I'm just open it up. I'm just saying, I love this track. It was awesome. It's really, I was just letting Blay know and let Radium know that it's hard for me to even find anything wrong with it. At some point, I'm so sucked in to you just being being a good song and being perfect. But towards the end, I did start thinking, not negative, but positive, even more positive. It seems like I don't know when you wrote this and whatever, but it seems like you definitely take Blay's feedback and a lot of our feedback into consideration.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah,
definitely, yeah,
it's a lot of improvement there.
yeah, it's just like the choir on this was
I'm
so
proud of you, Edeski.
I loved it. I love this. And then when it paused for a second and then went into the whole second part movement or whatever you call it, uh, at that point I was like, okay, I want to add this to a playlist and listen to it again. Like it took me on a journey, and then it had like a little twist in it, and everything. Really cool. And I really think that pause helped the dynamics to the point where that ending, loud and impactful.
Yeah, I
but
think you
not
went to the
perfect.
second movement of that, I guess.
Loved it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, you really improved a lot of things with this one. I just think, and I keep repeating myself, and I'm kind of getting annoyed at that. Uh, tone and the percussion. I keep telling you, I want to hear something by you that actually doesn't need percussion in any way, and that's not just something where it's like, oh, let me just turn off the percussion for this event. You know, I want to hear something like that from you because I think you could learn a lot from it. You're toning it down more, which is good. But I think what's probably why it's kind of annoying to me is that the rhythm is it's always the same rhythm and it's super basic and you hear it everywhere. You hear it everywhere. I'm sorry, Edisky. Oh, I wanted to really just like this, but then you start with that same that same style of percussion, that same style of rhythm again. Oh, and I'm so tired of hearing it because it's everywhere in every single movie. You hear it everywhere. Every like adventure or like any Marvel film, you hear it everywhere. Switch it up, do something different. I have nothing against percussion. I have a lot against overusing percussion, and I have a lot against these same old basic things. I guess you know what? Skip to any point in the Lion King movie, and you're gonna hear that exact rhythm probably. I don't know.
What?
It's just it's
Uh,
fine if you do it and whatever. And we hear a lot from you, which is all surrounding this thing you're working on. I think it's story or a movie. I don't know for sure. Um, but it's all sort of in this uh thematically fits in the same idea, I believe. So it's fine if it works for that.
he's asking
But I
you.
think
He's asking you in the chat even.
um
What's your
oh yeah,
what would
how
you
you can make
recommend?
different percussion. Oh sure.
Rhythms even.
I mean yeah, different rhythm. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you, but I can tell you I can't tell you a different pattern. I guess try
What does that stuff come from? Like
new.
march? Is that like kind of rhythms that come from like what would traditionally being like maybe like more of like a it's the snare drums like in orchestra drumming? Is it like or maybe almost like marching band where you
uh
get those different syncopations? Would that still like lend
It
itself to
has
this?
like a military feel to it, but
Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't
what I mean.
know what the actual where it actually originated or if the specific rhythm has some other origins. I don't know. No, but I think I could switch it up is for one, if you don't always attempt for a continuous rhythm, because right now it's sort of this always
Oh,
moving kind of thing, which is sort of nice to convey this idea of motion. But I don't think you always need that. So basically what I do or what I do with my percussion, I never really have these ongoing percussive elements, these ongoing rhythmic parts that just keep going and going and going. It's the same idea with the ostinato strings you had in that one moment with da 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 in the strings. If you keep that going for too long, it's gonna get kind of boring. And it's the same with the percussion. So usually when I use percussion, I use it really like only in places where it really conveys an idea. It's fine if there are sections in your music where you have that continuous motion, of course. I do that a lot too. It's just I like to break it up. I like to rhythmically break it up, and I like to break up the quality of the sound you're using in that. So use different instruments in the percussion section. You're using a lot of these snare drums and bass drums, I believe. Uh, or
toms, you
it's,
saying?
something
Toms,
something of
ensembles?
the toms. I don't know, but I think if you try to think for another piece, if you try to think of percussion less as um, an instrument that should always be present, think of it more as almost something for an effect. Because what can happen when you orchestrate it like this, which of course you can, it's fine. Just when you overdo it, you really get used to it, and it doesn't have that same impact anymore. It would have if you really um if you really want to basically, let's say you want to tell the story of I don't know, let's say like a group of attackers moving over like a hill or something, because we want to get in that like kind of warrior setting.
Sorry, let's go.
So you want to have a theme. You have like this hill, you have green, you have clouds, you have this like valley where they're all moving. You have an army assembled down there, and you want to tell the story of the smaller army or whatever moving over the hill. You want to start with something, probably something quiet, something exciting. You want to hear that electricity in the air. Before something happens, you have this electricity in the air. So this is something where
The
you could
drums are telling you a
util-
story, not
this is
just the
something
other
where you could
parts. Yeah.
utilize percussion.
Yeah.
What you could do is symbols are really great for this sort of
Oh yeah.
for this sort of tension building. So what I would do is go into some extended technique with those, because you can take the mallets for those and use other toys and stuff to scratch over those symbols, and it'll do like a like a really like interesting sizzling sound. Basically, you could do something like that, really quiet and really damped down. And what you could do then, if you wanted to do something only percussion, you could then slowly introduce, maybe the team captain or whatever is giving a speech to the army or whatever. You could then slowly introduce a low bass drum, boom, 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 very quietly, just really carefully bring in that tension, really carefully, really, really slowly. Build up the tension slowly, but don't let it get too overpowering. Then you could introduce another character. Maybe someone in the army is especially young, or is especially afraid of this battle, or maybe you follow them in the story for a long time, and you kind of they're more emotionally attached to things around them and stuff like that.
This is
So you kind of
Blaze
want to
Bob
focus on that
Ross of
character.
Blaze Bob Ross of music.
Yeah,
There's a
I
little
just
happy
always
little
like to
horn over here.
think in terms of these stories. But you could give that character
For
their
sure.
own theme. Obviously, what would be good, I don't want to talk for too long, but what would be good if you could establish one of these themes early on in the story, because you're not going to start there. You're not just going to start on the battlefield, but you want to introduce themes for characters. This is what I believe you would call a leitmotif. I want to be careful about it, but a leitmotif usually focuses on a person, an object, or a situation, things like that. Basically a theme that represents something within of something, in this case within the story. So I'd introduce early on in the story, early on in the movie or something. um, you should introduce a theme for the character that you could bring back at that moment, but in an arrangement that sort of conveys this idea of fear. You could change the way it harmonically works within the setting, but also rhythmically, and also the tempo. You could have it slower. You could have it a bit rhythmically different, the melody of that character, to convey this feeling of um, this is a moment that is like really like you have to overcome this. You have to overcome this blockage. You don't want to go, but you kind of do.
And it's really
So
just,
instead of
if
so
I'm
instead of where
correct,
you
you're
have a
really
melody that goes like da da dum ba dum, for example, you could do something like da dum bum bum na, something like that, to build up the tension in that character.
anyone sample that?
Just a silly example. Um, and I don't want to talk for too long, but then what you could do is obviously bring in that typical military feel, like dum, taka-dum, 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 something like that. What you do on your music often, uh, but I'd break it up every now and then. Just let's say they get into battle and it's getting really loud. You really bring up the percussions and stuff, and then they clash. They get together both. I'm just kind of skipping ahead because I don't want to talk for too long. But the both armies clash. You could convey that with a big bass drum hit, vum, and you could also introduce something like maybe a piatti, which is those two cymbals that you hold basically on leather straps. You hold them and you clash them together. You could even use a big a gong, one of these big Chinese huge uh, uh, cymbals. What they're called? Come on, tam tam, right? That's what they're called. Something like that, and you could then bring it down again, go to a different perspective, could break that up. Um, maybe I'm thinking of it differently than you, Edis, but I don't think it sounds like a cartoon. Um, but I'm just trying to describe an idea where you could break up rhythmic patterns and stuff. Because I wouldn't keep that going, because then it gets boring again.
Sure, I
It's
find
just
some.
it's just a means of slowly introducing different things and different themes, different characters within those patterns. If you want to think of it as story,
I
but I think
definitely
what's
look for some
important, just to
examples.
break it up, this continuous rhythm, is to literally break it up, or maybe not even get into it in the first place, because you don't need it everywhere. And I think you're also kind of just to get back to my kind of list of short notes. I'm going to keep this shorter. It's just because you asked. I wanted to give you some idea that I could come up. I mean, I'm coming up with this on the fly, so like this is not worked out. Or this is not developed or anything, obviously. Um, but basically, tell the story. Think of the story. Tell the story. Don't just make music for the sake of just making music. I have a meaning behind it, basically. I think something to be careful with is overusing certain percussive elements, because you're using snare drums a lot, you're using these bass drums or toms a lot, and you're also really using tubular bells a lot. They have a really nice sound, but they can very quickly get super annoying and convey the wrong ideas. So you got to be really careful with those two. They're really nice, but sometimes I think you should rather go with a glockenspiel or maybe even a celesta uh, to uh, to to convey other ideas in certain places. Because sometimes the tubular bells are just too powerful. They really drive home a point, you know. Um, I just want to say one positive thing for the end. The small flute duet. I couldn't quite hear it on stream because we were talking a bit on Discord. But the flute duet you made, that was really nice. I don't know if it was two flutes or if I misheard because I couldn't hear that point. Might be a flute and something, but I think it was a flute duet. Uh, that was really nice. That was a really nice moment. I want more like that. And again, I think in terms of orchestration, I think you could go a little bit smaller scale in some places. You know, for the very end of this piece, um, I didn't really feel like an end was really approaching. And I think in this case, I think the way you wanted it to feel, but I don't know. Of course, I think it would be good if you had a bit of a greater build up to that moment, a bit more tension there. But I'm gonna message you on Amino, probably tomorrow because it's gonna be late today. Um, but I'm gonna message you on Discord, tell you on Amino, and maybe give you some examples for other ideas for how you could utilize a rhythm and how you could break up a rhythm. Just kind of, I'd still tell you to try and not do the note beat challenge, but actually do it for real and write something that really doesn't rely and doesn't need percussion in any way. And then when you're done with that, you may go in and add a few percussive instruments, but only for effect. Nothing continuous, nothing that just keeps going, but only if it really, you know, really needs to be there for something for the thing you want to tell. Just always be careful with these continuously uh, things that just keep going and going, you know, because they can get super boring and you can get too focused on them and they can really ruin the feel for something you want to tell.
Radom, did you have some quick notes on this before we move on to the next?
No.
What'd you say?
I said I have nothing to say.
Did you like the song or did you not?
I mean, yeah, I always like
It's a
watch
piece build.
so I like it, honestly.
It's like what I
Blade,
said. I really don't have much to say because I just liked it. I really liked it. I was bought in. Blay and Etsky have fun banters back and forth about this stuff. They understand each other. So Blay always has a lot more to say. We're gonna move on to the next. I did see some new people jump in the chat. Kid, if you're still there, we got your track queued up here. Those that are waiting, we got Orchestra. I got your track. Super Z Russell, I see you in the chat. You are next. Go ahead and play yours. And it looks like Young Outsider submitted something new too. So y'all stay tuned for this Russell Fantasy.
All right.
All right. There we go. That was Fantasy by Super Z Russell. The phonics. 'Cause last week we were saying Russell. Um,
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to mean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Super Z Russell.
no, I think I started it. Super Z Russell. Let's
Oh,
see.
okay.
No, I'm saying I think I'm the one that started.
I mean, in that case, yeah, it's Guild. How dare you, Guild?
Yeah, I said Russell, and then y'all started repeating after me because I said Russell. I'll take the blame. Anyways, he gave us the little phonics this time. Z Russell, Super Z Russell. Really nice track. This is the kind of wall of sound I'm always talking about. I think mastering the wall of sound is the difficult part, and I think that's why tracks are just extremely loud and have to actually get turned down to so much to get them to match with the other ones. To out. This one was extremely loud, but I'm not going to get into exactly why because it's actually still a bit of a mystery to me, like why I have to turn down so much on everybody's track. Now I'm just still trying to figure out, but there is definitely still some
Because no
issues.
one knows how to check their
Right,
levels.
right. So, but just talking about after we turn it down, hearing it for the first time like that. Yeah, I really like the track. Really full. I like the it's kind of bass music I listen to. It's still like too simple for me as far as the fact that it's just once you get the idea about it, it's just like you get it, and it's just more about just feeling it the rest of the time. You're not really like
Especially the second time around could really use a change.
so I would just spice it up with tricks and effects, like things you'd almost get from like psytrance. You know what I mean? Things you'd pull from that genre, but put them over into this genre, and it'd give you a lot more flavor. I don't know what things like
Yeah,
that.
or compose new melodies and harmony.
Yeah. No, Blay. What do you think, Radio?
Radium, don't leave us. No.
I'm back.
We can't do this without you.
No, but seriously though, like I'm thinking.
I like the I mean, definitely like the sidechain you had going.
I thought the stereo panning effect on that synth melody that repeats, not repeats, but responds to the melody shortly before. I think it's like a delay though. I think that's a really cool effect. You could have, maybe, because that's at some point it was cool. You got used to it. It happened like a couple of times. What would have been funny at one point is if you made it so that the melody that's center plays, and then the side melodies on left and right channel play something else to surprise you, and then they could move inwards and do a really crazy like a duet of sorts in the middle there and like do something. That could be something awesome you could do to make it different. And you could also move into a different key, a different harmony stuff, like different chord progressions and stuff, because you're saying the same thing. I mean, everyone does. I mean, this sort of music usually works like that, but I think it could be so much more interesting if you do more harmonically and
And you'd
with
be
the melody.
surprised how many of the biggest hits actually do have those mode changes, and you don't realize it until you go look at all like the songs
Yeah,
that have
yeah,
mode
yeah.
changes.
They
And you're
do,
like,
they do.
wait, all these songs have mode changes? You're like, I didn't realize that that was such a trick that people use, especially in the more poppy side of things. But
Yeah.
I agree kind of with Arcestic that this is one of the best tracks from you, Super Z Russell. But
Super Z Russell. You
Super
did it
Z.
again.
I know. I think it's definitely one of the best, but that wall of sound still is so tricky. I still think it's just I say I like the wall of sound, but then it's almost too full. Like that wall was almost too full. Like the main super saw synth was a little too thick, and the only way to really you don't want to adjust it too much because you'll ruin the sound of it. I know, but if you put the right little dip in the EQ somewhere around where it's like maybe I don't know, don't just run to doing that. But I'm just saying there's somewhere where you could make a dip in the EQ on that super saw, and it would kind of like lighten the load, and then other elements would come through more. I don't want to take away too much.
Actually, I'm looking at the title. I'm starting to wonder. Um, uh, I don't know. I'm missing some fantasy aspects here, because it sort of stays in this. I don't know. This is EDM, right? I don't know.
This is it's a style of electronic dance music, typically
Something, yeah,
called future
yeah.
bass.
Which is fine and can work in fantasy. I mean, fantasy is does have modern stuff to it too. It depends on the like fantasy world you're in. But oh, my voice is getting weird. Um, But I think, yeah, you should do so much more with your melody and with your harmony, because this just felt sort of like the typical like sort of like EDM track you'd hear in like a, I don't know, some game maybe, or for some video with like flying motorcycles, like sort of like a Tron kind of thing, you know, that one movie I believe with those light motorcycles. I don't know, something like that. But I'm not really getting those like fantasy vibes from it. You should really work more with different and longer melodies there, because you have these snippets, dum dum dum, da, 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 something like that. Uh, but they never really like, you don't have a sort of like leading melody that sort of takes you some other places. Because there are so many ways you could take this. To me, this feels like one long intro that then just sort of ends, rather than something that starts. Then you have like a really like you actually telling a story. Because especially fantasy is stuff where I expect a story. I expect a story there, and this just sort of shows one one small aspect of like maybe a map of the environment you're in, but not actually showing anything beyond that. It's just sort of like looking at one thing and then moving on. It's a bit missed
Honestly,
opportunity there.
honestly, Russell, I know you're a fan of Porter Robinson, and he does just that. You know, he makes electronic music and stuff. I know he doesn't make future bass, but he tells a story with his melodies and his arrangements and everything like that. I would think if you would go a little bit more into uh, that kind of storytelling melody, started writing, and then mix it with. I know you do like to make like you're almost like a multi-genre producer in the sense that you like to like do your future bass track and then your dubstep track and then your
Mm,
house
mm.
track and then you want to have you have all these different tracks. But I've heard you do some very Porter Robinson style stuff, and I would take his concept of really like hashing out a melody and then like effects and everything to really tell a story. So the second half of your song is not just like the first half of your song, but overall,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool. And
yeah.
and, and kind of what Blake was commenting on is the fact that you used the title name Fantasy, which again I've said this multiple times. Some people look at the title when they listen to the song and they put the two together, and some people will never see the title. But you got to take that into consideration. Like, make sure the title and stuff. I mean, in your head, it probably you thought fantasy or whatever, but make sure at some point the title really ties to the music, and then even the picture itself. They're all like a trio, like of a it's a final package. But Radium, did you think of the wisdom you wanted to grant? Go upon us.
I think my only real feedback would be I found. I mean, you guys kind of said it. It's like it's very the arrangement kind of simple. It goes where
Mm.
every songs of this genre goes. So yeah, I would find a way to switch it up. Like that's pretty much my main feedback.
Right, yeah. I'm sorry. I feel like feel like we're ruining your
We always say everything
rants
Radium was just
today. You don't even get to rant. No.
Radium. Think of a rant. Think of a rant, Radium. Let you go off. Okay, let's go to Young
I
Outsider.
maybe I just want to add that basically musicians ultimately, I think this is something that gets forgotten often. I mean, you could say this is only because from where I'm coming from with making music for movies, but no, this applies to every musician and every composer and every producer. Ultimately, you're all storytellers. You all tell a story, or you should be. But that's what music does. Music is a medium for telling story. I mean, of course, it doesn't have to be technically, but how I see it is, musicians ultimately are storytellers.
Go with the music, because you listen to the beginning before the middle and then the end. You listen to it in that order, and you don't want to just you want to tell a story. You don't want to give away the ending at the beginning. Save the
Yeah,
ending for the ending.
yeah. Every track, every musicians, you guys are telling a story. It's about story.
Love that. Um, all right, let's go on to the next story by Young
Yeah.
Outsider. Wish. Right. So that was Wish by Young Outsider. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll open it up to the discussion for sure, but I always like to just start my first thing before I have excitement because I am excited that this is much better than the last track that you submitted. I know last time we were a little harsh because we submitted a track that was a year old and kind of like we were commenting on it, and then we felt a little silly because we're like,
Oh yeah,
why are
I
we giving you
remember.
feedback on a track that's a year old? We'd like to hear your new stuff. So hearing this, it was really refreshing. I like that you stayed within a certain like very modern key, and it was easy on the ear. And I like the overall melody that you had. It was, I know it was simple. I know it could be a lot better, but for your skill level and for tracks, I actually really like the melody. I mean, it's a melody that definitely, I always say video game stuff because I am starting to rate music for video games, so that's the way I've been thinking lately. But it'd be great, in like certain level of a video game, or if you wanted to take this to mainstream, you would really have to add proper drums, side chaining in the proper drums, and really add it to a new like a popular genre. But for what it is, just being a melody and like almost like an 8-bit kind of thing. Um, I liked it. I really liked it. I just think it's really simple. I don't think you're doing any effects or any any transitions that are really going to put you over the top yet. I think you need to focus a little bit more on excitement. Like it's just real simple and just kind of, oh, this is nice, neat sound. It's really cool. Definitely, I liked it better than your last track. But I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that not exciting enough. Doesn't mean energy. I'm talking about even a chill song can be exciting. I'm talking about exciting as in little ear candies and things happening you didn't know. Y'all think? Radium? Yeah. Radium walked out on us.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Blay?
Malay also walked out on us today.
I know what is happening. What did y'all think about this track? Radium. Just
Uh,
playing a game.
um,
This is very insightful.
What did
I mean, this is me
Ray?
trying to be. This is what happens.
Be honest. Be honest.
I'm
Well,
honestly
my
say,
honest, I didn't like it, but that's not nice.
well, I want you people to know that Radium he likes finished tracks that sound like they're professional. So if you get, you know,
Well, not necessarily. Like,
well,
I'll be the
yeah,
first one. My own music sucks, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't like it because it's bad. Like when I say I don't like something, I don't mean it as in it's bad. Well, I
Yeah.
really do. I mean in the sense that it needs something more. Like this
Yeah.
track. I say it a lot, but it sounded very simplistic, very very
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
At the same time, I take into account that it's like a novice doing it, so like I can't just bash out.
Yeah.
But sounds novice. Take that for what you want. I mean, you have been producing over a year and stuff. That's still very novice. It took me 10 years to even start making stuff that sounds good, and I'm still, still
It
improving. But
takes time.
it
It
takes a
takes
lot
a
of
lot of
time.
time.
But it does come off as a novice track when it doesn't sound like everything is there to big track. And what I really mean is what I first hear, like transitions or not,
Hmm.
or
Right.
and it could even come from drums or whatever, like drum rolls, drum fills, whatever it might be, to let you know that there's transitionings happening, and then effects with the main melodies and everything. They're really nice, but
Right.
the reverb and stuff could be a little better, maybe
Yeah.
kind of make it sound like a more polished track. Sounds like a good starting
Yeah.
idea. Again, it has that 8-bit sound too. You don't have to go much farther if you wanted to stay in
Yeah.
that 8-bit realm. But
Yeah. If you want that effect, yeah. Yeah. I
I
think I
definitely like it
want to.
compared to the last one.
Yeah. I definitely want to. Before you start running and slap on all kinds of effects you can think of, um, I want you to because I think yeah, sure, it does sound a bit dry and like there could be more elements and stuff. But I think what you should figure out before you go and slap on effects to hide some other issues you might have you should work on your melody writing, so your actual composition skills, and on your harmony. Because I could tell you had some really nice ideas for the harmony in this, but what sort of makes harmony like this not work so well in this case is you had really tight intervals. So each note in a chord is really close together. So they start to clash at some point. They might not even be dissonant, but they might seem like it in terms of just simple harmony, especially when your harmony is in the lower octaves in the lower register of your track, basically. In this case, in the synth, uh, harmonies tend to clash a lot more. You can have much tighter chords in higher registers than in lower ones. I won't get into the acoustic reasons behind that right now because I want to keep it a bit simpler this time around. Um, but I try to be more careful with how tight or how well. Basically, I just open up those chords, uh, and then I try to also, like I said for the other ones, you wanna tell a story. Like I said before. So you should really consider and really think about what you're trying to say, what you're trying to achieve with this track, basically, or like with any track you're making working on. Before you think about sound design, before you think about elements and stuff you could push the quality with, you should figure out the composition aspect of it all. And yeah, just like one tip straight up front is that with the tight chords you use, because they can sound kind of nasty and kind of weird and unclear and stuff. So if you want to clean those up, you can move them higher, or just spread out the intervals a bit more, and just change that up. How you actually structure the chords, um, the individual voices in the chords. And then with the melody, of course, you wanna not always have the same sort of idea, just moving and moving, but you wanna switch it up, and make different things. Yeah.
I like what you have going here. I'd keep working on this one. I mean, I personally, I'm a completionist, so I actually take everything and either finish it or delete it. So I personally would take this and keep. Yeah, I really do. I would personally take this and keep working on it and actually hash it out. Or if you want to just put it out as like, kind of a sign of where you're at the times, and then keep working on a new song. Just take what we said into consideration. But I actually would like to intro this. I'd like to
Yeah.
hear this actually hashed out in a full, completed song that got better reviews, sort of thing, and then just kind of bring it back to the table. But
Yeah.
fun. Um, cool. So let's go on. There's got more tracks. Got to get it done here in time. This one is by Kid Hero Grows Up. Called Make Me the Word.
Make me the words I can sing to a friend to help them believe their world's not going to end. And if it's a lie, then I'll cry but still stand as the storms in their pride give no time to defend. Give us a song for two people to sing when they're trapped in a room or they're full on flying, and the world is out dying, but they're left alone. Together their voices enchanting the tone. Give me the right words to show when you're wrong, that can put me on top after losing so long. That'll take from the strong and leave them agape, like a hero from space and the flash of a cape. Give me a word I can use to win bets and work despite how tense it sometimes gets. Relationships high, relationships low, Sunshine Beach in a blinding snow. anyone from whatever's afflicting them under the sun. I know that's a dream that belongs to a fool, but I long for long dreams and a sleep never cruel. The dreams are the tools that are anyway wise. Make the words stay with us as we arise.
All right, that was "Make Me the Words" by Kid Hero Grows Up. No, I'm just gonna say something real quick, and then I'll get back into my part. I just really love this. It was amazing. I was actually very, very impressed. I've had the privilege of seeing him perform live once, and it was really cool. And then to see him come into our community and present even higher quality stuff like that, I'm just very impressed with you, Kid Hero. Great job. Good to see you. And curious, what the judges, particular Radium, has to say about this track. What do you think? Don't do this to me again.
I was waiting for Radium to talk.
Oh, I was waiting for Blade to talk.
Oh.
We're so polite. Look at it.
Look at this. I think. What did you think, Radium? I'm curious.
I liked it. Honestly, I
Yeah, I
don't
liked
have
it
the
too.
rent you guys wanted. I really liked it. I think the only thing I would say for the singing is maybe make the singers louder, because sometimes we don't
Oh,
hear
yeah.
the singers, we don't hear what they say, and I think it takes out of the fact that it's such a acoustic song. I need to hear what the singers are saying. So maybe
Yeah, yeah.
give the singers a better mic or redo the mixing so we can hear the singers. But honestly, I have nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
I
hoping
agree.
you-
The last track you submitted for I think the last or the feedback stream before that, I don't know which one it was. Um, you submitted a track where you guys had the same criticism where I didn't agree, and for that one I still wouldn't agree. I think it's good that they're singing. The vocals were a bit in the back there for that one. But with this one, I can agree that the vocals are pretty far back in the mix. What I'd suggest probably is to also make them a bit wider, especially in those. I'm gonna call them choir sections now. You could probably make them a bit wider, give a broader feel of those. That's kind of because the entire mix is a bit narrow, in my opinion. I don't
Especially
know.
being a
That might just
duet,
be
you could split them
yeah.
up a little. Left and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you could also that's a creative decision though. I don't know. You could because you have two guitars, you could also pan those in the sections where they're together. Maybe just an idea. Um, and another idea is maybe that the pickup on the acoustic guitar feels really touchy, really close. Maybe if you could find a different way of picking that up, maybe not I think it's a direct pickup. I don't know. Um, uh, but that's an artistic decision you gotta make. Just something that maybe that feels a bit too like it tickles your eardrums a bit. I don't know. But that might just be me. And yeah, there's that one stuck note on the after the e-guitar thingy is over basically. I was expecting it to shift down maybe or something. Um, it seemed kind of like stuck and like kind of like in a weird position there, just like kind of waiting for it to fade out. But I don't know. These are really minor things are just basically down to a personal preference and taste and stuff. It's a really, really nice song, and it's really well done. I really love you guys' voices. I love the songwriting. I love the guitar playing. It's really awesome. Really, really nice. And this is a perfect example for storytelling in music because there's both in the lyrics, of course, there's a story they're telling, but also the melody and the harmony tells a story and it works with the lyrics. It's really nice. Really well done.
I like the lead solo. Had a lot of human.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all in all, really, really good. To clarify, I did not see him perform live, like in person, because social distancing and everything. We both
Wasn't your
are.
VR world, right?
Yeah, it was a VR world. We're both members of this
Awesome.
VR platform, and there's an open mic nights there, and I saw him first on an open mic night, and I invited him to the community, so he joined in. He really likes the community, so that was really cool, and I like to see that you're submitting great music to our performance, our events. That was really nice to listen to, and
Yeah, really nice.
tell the other singer you're singing with that we said positive things about y'all's voice, because that's very, very nice. Cool. So let's go on to the last one. Trapped by Arcestic.
Somewhere with that.
Um,
If you pick
very,
up at that point,
very good, very good. All right, that was Trapped by Arcestic. You know, I think well, last week you treated us to a really fun a little sample track you did with our voice, which was really cool. That was fun. But this is back up to your typical style, and I'd say yes. I said this before, but I think you basically mastered your style. I mean, I know a lot of the future house stuff. You know, tracks sound similar. It's all about just taking that formula and doing your own little thing, your own melody and stuff. And in this one, I like the second half where you started adding those little like almost like little chant things, but it was just like this little effects going on. Really, just finish the song off. You know, kind of like we were saying earlier, like have an ending that's not given away. Kind of did that. So honestly, I do listen to this style, and I would say I would put this on that playlist. But that playlist, though, take this for what you. I don't listen to that playlist much anymore because every song on there basically sounds the same, and I know what I'm going to get from it. Now, when I'm in the mood for that, boom, I put that on and I listen to a good 3 hours of this music while I'm working or something. Love this style of music.
right?
And you're really good at getting that mix right. But I am curious, Cook, that much effort, put it into a song at halftime like you did last week. Something at a different speed, a different tempo, a different genre almost. I mean, for sure, like a different genre, but same level of mixing and like your mind is like you've got it figured out. You know good music, you know how to get there. Now I'm curious with other genres. I'm not saying you need to step
Yeah,
out of your.
absolutely. Yeah. Switch it up, challenge yourself, make something different, completely different. Yeah. Yeah,
Really,
this while we were listening, I was kind of saying like this reminds me so much of the highway scene in the second Matrix movie. And now that I think about it, I think we're saying something like that every time we submit a song. I almost feel like I don't know if it's you or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just mistaken there, but I feel like every time we hear a track like that, we just reference to the Matrix, basically. Um, Yeah, no, but yeah, Guild is absolutely right. You should try for a different genre, different style, and really like challenge yourself to do something
well, yeah, and
different.
that's not feedback on this song, of course. That's just me saying I would love to hear that.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
on this song, yeah, I actually really like the. There's a real catchy melody and it sounded unique. It almost sounded like it. I mean, I'd like to hear it again. But just the melody of it was really unique. I'm not saying it was all like hashed out like super complex and very elaborated. It was just a really neat little melody. It had a really cool like I don't know, it's a really nice melody you have there. It gave the song its character. It gave it its individuality. It's hard for
yeah,
someone that's not used to this, and it all sounds the same to them. But when you hear all the songs side by side, your song definitely it had its own melody. Everything else was
yeah.
very much progressive house, but the melody was unique enough for me. And like I said at the end, you kind of switched it a little bit extra. Man, I have such a bad short-term memory. I can't think of what I was gonna call those little things, but you had little things that were filled up the end that really just gave it that extra, that last layer of energy. So it was really good on the arrangement, really good on the composition, mixing it as usual, really solid. Your kick drum and your side train work very well together.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, yeah. In terms of melody, you have that one synth that keeps repeating stuff near the end, or I don't know if it starts or at the end. I just missed it. But you have that one synth that really like stands out, which has the like bum ba dum kind of thing going on. And I think that's a great opportunity to pick up on that snippet of an idea and like extend that. Uh, you could take that and use that to really like. Sorry. You could take that and use it to go into a more elaborate melody, basically, which is sort of something I'm kind of missing with this. Is there's not really like one melody that sticks out to me as a melody that sort of leads you through that entire track, you know. So I'd expect there's something more in that sense with like I guess you could call it a lead melody, but in the sense of something like really fleshed out, really like something that keeps going. So a longer melody that's sort of like a like a red string moving through the piece, the track in
Yeah.
this case. And
I
I think
think
I think
the
I
whole
think that
genre could benefit from.
is something where you could like pick up on that and do something with that. Just keep going bum ba dum something I don't know.
I agree, and that's the kind of stuff that when you hear it, even in a track like this, I do hear it, and I do hear it in tracks like this. When you really, really listen to like all the best of this genre, you do hear those they're talking about, and it's just that one part of the track. You could either call it. It could either happen during the bridge. It could either happen during the last drop, or it could even happen like at a breakdown. But at some point, uh, the melody takes a little bit of a detour and plays a little bit something more elaborated, and then goes right back into the whole riff of the thing. But it just that little part adds that whole story element. Um, right. That was.
We didn't hear Radium's thought of this yet about this on this. I don't
I
know.
feel like Radium doesn't want to talk to us today.
Radium hates us.
Radium, what did we do wrong today, Radium?
Not my fault. Okay, the weather is bad here.
Ow.
I'm gonna blame the weather.
What do you think about
But
artistic slate?
I mean, obviously the music genre isn't my style, but I really, really liked it. Like I thought there were
Oh,
some things about it that made it super unique and memorable, especially it sounded to me like a vocal ad lib thing. Like it's still stuck in my head. Like I think Artistic really, really has his own style, and it shows in everything he does. So yeah, I liked it.
Job artistic. I don't know what you're doing about trying to get on record labels. I know a lot of people tell you not to. A lot of people tell you to. You should still be smitten. You never know what's gonna happen. Just submit to the right label. Just make sure it's a good deal. But I think your stuff can get on label. Problem is kind of what I was saying though. Not just because your stuff is good and it sounds like a lot of the stuff in that genre. Labels are always looking for the next big thing. They're not looking for the thing that's already been heard. So
yeah.
if you want
They're
a
also
label,
looking for marketability. They're looking
marketability,
for marketability.
looking for someone that already. They really like to find someone that already has a following because they just absorb your whole
Oh yeah.
following.
Oh yeah.
But what they really want is something that catches them. They think they got the next big thing. But yeah, that's just one record label. Though Artistic, you almost need to not do labels. You need to submit to blogs. There's blogs that they're like look for hypemachine.com. Hype Machine and stuff like that. You really just got bloggers to promote you. It's this whole concept of like DJs too. You want to get DJs. You want to pitch your songs to DJs and bloggers. Those are the people that have the audiences, and if they play your song or post your song, their audience tunes onto you. But just submitting it to record labels, it's just
that's a good tip. That's a really good tip.
yeah. Look for a DJ that will drop your track and a DJ that has a following. So, yeah, I just think your stuff's at that level. I think your stuff's at that level, and there's still an audience for it. It definitely has an audience for it when live shows come back around. But slow it down since there's not a lot of live shows going on right now, because of the world's conditions and stuff. Just slow it down and make some more chill tracks to see if you want. That'd be fun. All right, cool. So that is the end. Let me kind of go through the community and see if there's any news. But good stream today. Good timing. Again, the EVP battles. Just say the draft is still happening. I've been in communication with the team captains, Artistic and Ski. We're trying to meet up on Saturday to have a draft. Let me check the chat right now. See if go back to me. Then we're just.
Do you want to take a look at Discord real quick? So I don't want to interrupt.
We're just gonna go with the. We're just gonna go with the tracks. We're just gonna go on the draft. We're gonna go with the producers that have submitted 3 songs, and I'll get all that stuff updated by Saturday for sure. And then we'll pick from the songs. Here we'll pick from the songs that have tracks. The artists that have tracks. Okay. There we go. There we go. I love this new setup. I know it was me a little stumbling around today, but Blake taught me his setup, and yeah, I just gotta get better with it. I would never do such things on Fruity Loops. I'm a master of that, but not a master of this. So it's just like I could see the potential of me learning this new program to the level where I know Fruity Loops, and at that point, I won't have these complications. Anyways, so the draft is happening. We're just gonna pick from the members that I do have tracks. There'll still be plenty to make the full teams. Let's see what's good. I'm okay with usual 7 p.m. So, Artistic, I think the best time for us to do the draft is gonna be the same time we do the streams, according to Ski and stuff. I know you said maybe an hour early, but I think he's saying 7, and I'm thinking. So if we could do 7 Saturday, we're gonna do the draft. Either right there in the chat room. I'll just go on voice. Y'all don't have to talk on voice, but I'll go on voice. We can just do the draft, or I can plan until we do it on YouTube. We'll figure that out. Draft Saturday, and hopefully the battle on Monday. Team battle Monday, next Monday, same time, 7 p.m. UTC. That will be fun. The feedback stream 7 submission format go up by tomorrow. Still looking for singers. Go talk to Radium about a singing competition. She's looking for singers.
We got her 3 singers.
Oh, we got singers. Scratch that.
Yeah.
Oh, exciting.
Exciting. That's good.
An hour to get them.
Oh, cool. It took 3 months in 1 hour. That's fine. That's good. That's good. No, I knew as soon as you got behind it, you'd be able to figure it out. Yeah, we started that competition 3 months ago. I kind of dropped the ball the first month. Second month, we posted it and got for the instrumentals, and we got enough, I guess. But I was kind of hoping we'd get more. And then, thanks to Radium, her taking it over, finding the singers, I think we'll be able to still actually finish that cross community collab. So thank you so much, Radium. You're awesome. Yeah. So Minty's probably be waking up here soon. Let's ever give him a hard time for not being on the stream today. And
Go check the chat on YouTube for a second. In case I got something to tell you.
Although, Gil, do you have you considered Discord? Yeah, we can do Discord, and I can do screen share. So let's do it on Discord. I'll do screen share, but we gotta. Okay, the only people that need to be on the draft are the team captains, to be honest with you. So if you want to show up to the draft just to observe it, come to Discord. Make sure you're on Discord, but you don't have to be. If you want to participate, you don't necessarily need to be on if you're sleeping or something or working. I just need the team captains to pick. But do make sure you send me the 3 tracks you want on your wiki so I can get that all updated properly. I know there's a couple people still waiting. I've got them in the queue. I did do Blay Hubs, and I've done a couple others recently, but I got to do them all. All right, so there's that, and other than that, tune back in on Monday for the battles.
Yeah, exciting.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. And thanks you so much, Blay, for bearing with me on this setup and teaching me how to do this. Yeah.
Oh, this is going great, I think.
Once you get past the beginning, and you made that guide for me, which is awesome. I'm saved that. But after you get past the beginning, the software is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Getting it down. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good one. Talk to us back in the community. Ask me any questions. Or just direct message me. So I get back to them pretty quick. Thanks everybody.